Hello and welcome. In this lecture, I'm going to illustrate how the row underscore number function works. So what is the row number function? What does it do? The row number function basically allows us to assign numbering to the rows of the result set data. So it will assign a running serial number to rows in each partition. So I've added some query here to illustrate how the row number function works. The row number function basically is going to assign a unique integer to each row in a result set. So let's quickly take a look at a basic syntax for the row number function. So this is what the syntax looks like. So it will use this syntax to assign integer values to each row in a result set. The set of rows that the row number function operates on is called a window. So the partition by this clause will divide the window into smaller sets or partition. Okay, but if you don't specify the partition by clause, the row number function, the row number for each partition will start with 1 and increment by 1. That is if you don't specify the partition by clause. Because the partition by clause is optional to the row number function, you can omit it, and the row function will then treat the whole window as one single partition. All right. Notice I've got an order by here. The order by clause, which is inside the over clause, will determine the order in which the numbers are assigned. Before I actually illustrate with a query, I just want to quickly run a quick query on the product table so we can see the content. So I'm just going to run that so we can see. So this is the content of the products table. So it has 11 rows in total. So I've got a basic query here, and I've deliberately left out the partition by clause because that is optional. So I've not used a partition by. So let me run this query and see the output. So this is the output. So because we did not use the partition by clause, the row number function has considered the whole result set as a single partition. All right. The order by clause sorts the result set by the product ID. Therefore, the row number function assigns the integer values to the rows based on the product ID order. So I have modified the query, and this time I have included a partition by clause. So we're using the partition by clause to divide the window into subsets based on the values in the group ID column. So what's going to happen in this case is that the row number function is going to assign 1 to the starting row of each partition and increases by 1 for the next row within the same partition. By doing it this way, it makes it unique. The order by clause will then sort the rows in each partition by the values in the product name column. Okay, so let me run this query. You see the output. So let's give it a few minutes. Yep, so you can see what I mean. By using the partition by, you can see we have a different output. All right, so I'm going to do one more example, but this time I'm going to use a distinct with it. Distinct basically enables you to eliminate duplicate values. So you can see we have a lot of duplicates here, but if I use a distinct, it will remove the duplicates values. So I'm using the row number function this time with the distinct keyword. I'm using a select distinct, but I'm using it on a different table. I'm using it on the same table, but this time I'm ordering it by the price column. Okay, so let me run this and you see it will remove all duplicates values. So you can see here there are no duplicates, so all these numbering are unique. All right, before I wrap up this lecture, I just want to show you one more query example. Basically what this query is going to do, I'm going to use the row number function for getting the nth highest or lowest row. For example, to get the third most expensive products. So first we have to get the distinct prices from the product table and then select the price whose row number is 3. Once we've done that, notice here I'm using a subquery. So using a subquery basically uses the result of the first query, and then the outer query performs the operation on that query. All right, so what we're doing here in the outer query, we get the products with a price that equals to the third highest. All right, so let me run this and then you can see the output. It's a fairly long query, so this is the beginning, just in case you didn't catch all of it. That's the beginning, and it ends on line 24. All right, so I'll just run through that with you, and I'll tell you again what the query is going to do. It's going to find the third most expensive product. So what the query does first is going to get the distinct prices, that is the prices that are unique. It's going to get the distinct prices from the products table and select the price whose row number is 3. Then in the outer query, we get the products with a price that equals the third highest price. All right, so that's the beginning of my query, and that's where the query ends. So let me execute the query, and you can see the output. There's the result. So that gives you the third highest price. So in this lecture, I've shown you how to use the PostgreSQL row number function to assign integer values to rows in a result set. Many thanks for watching. If you have any issues and if you don't understand the lecture properly, please feel free to contact me. I'll be more than happy to go through that with you again. Take care and bye for now.